Hello, everyone. As part of the Batman Beyond month coverage, I'm going to do a Batman Beyond episode tier list. You can see here I've got this pre-made one from Tier Maker. Thank you to whoever made this. So let's kick things off with Rebirth. So this is the first two-part story introducing us to Terry McGinnis. Immediately, I think that one's going to go in the S tier because it's excellent. Never mind the fact that the episode itself is generally high quality across the board. However, the first 2 minutes showing us what happened to the elderly Bruce Wayne to make him give up being Batman is just one of the best moments in the whole series. So it's going right up there in the S ranking straight away. Okay, so next episode is Blackout. So that's the one that introduces us to Inc. as she's hired by Derek Powers to take out Fox Tekka and some other companies. I think this is a really good episode. It's got some really great music in it. But I think for now I'm going to put it as an A because it's not quite top tier. The next episode we have is Golem. So this is the one with, what's his name? Willie Watt, the school child that's bullied. And he has a psychic connection with a big construction robot. I think it's a good episode. A or B? I'm gonna, for now, I'm gonna put it in B. It's a very good episode, but I feel like there are a lot better ones, such as Meltdown. So Meltdown is the episode that reintroduces us to Mr. Freeze and shows what happens to him when he tries to rehabilitate. And it breaks my heart every time I watch it. I love it so much. So that one is definitely going S tier. And actually, as I'm going along, I'm going to adjust the position of these episodes. So far, Meltdown is my absolute favourite episode of Batman Beyond, and I'm going to put that at the top of the list. Heroes. Okay, so that's the one with the analogues for the Fantastic Four, the terrific trio, Magma, 2D Guy, and Cold Gas Girl. I can't remember their names off the top of my head. I'm sorry. Perhaps I should have done some research. In fact, I might be able to bring it up on a different tab. Heroes. Magma, Freon, and 2D Man. Oh, I was close. This is a really good one as well. I love all the references to Marvel Comics in this episode, from obviously the Fantastic Four reference to that recreation of the epic moment where Spider-Man lifts all the rubble off of himself that's been replicated in the movies and the cartoons across the board. Of course, when Batman does it, it's not water that's rushing in, everything's on fire. It's taken it up another level, I think. I'm going to give this an A. Better than Blackout? For now, I'm going to say no. For now. So Shriek. So this is the episode where Derek Powers hired Shriek to kill Bruce Wayne. Again, it's another really good episode. Not the best by any means, but still a very good episode. There's a really nice moment where Bruce Wayne is walking through the old area of Gotham City and he goes into the police station and you can see there's a wanted sign for the Joker. Now that wanted sign makes a lot more sense when you know what happens in Batman Beyond Return of the Joker. But it was a nice little tease then for people back in, when was this episode airing? When did this episode air? 1999 probably? Yeah, it would have been 1999. I'm going to give this one, I think I'm going to give that one a B as well. I like it more than Golem. I mean, it's almost an A. Can I just swap these around? Let me try. There we go, that's done it. Okay, Dead Man's Hand is the next episode. So this is the one with the Royal Flush Gang. Terry briefly splits up with his girlfriend Dana, and Melanie Walker, who's 10 of the Royal Flush Gang, comes into his life. I like this episode. It's good. I'm going to put it in the B tier though, I think, because it's good, but not top of the line. The Winning Edge. Now, this one involves a new drug that's being used by the school children in their sports team called Slappers. So it's like venom in a patch that they slap on. It makes them get big and burly. Bane is the obvious suspect, but when they investigate the Batmen, Bruce Wayne and Terry McGinnis, they find Bane is like an elderly, decrepit man that can't breathe without a ventilator and he's stuck in a chair. I think, again, it's another really good episode. Probably going to put it in the B tier, but again, I'm going to put it above Shriek if I can. Okay, there we go. Spellbound. Okay, so this is another villain introduction episode with the Spellbinder. He is hypnotizing the children of wealthy citizens and kind of getting them to steal things from their parents, like art and sculptures and stuff. Again, it's another good episode. There's a really dark moment where he hypnotizes Batman into thinking he's like at a tropical, I don't know, some sort of tropical island, and he's going to dive into a nice pool of water. But in reality, he's diving off of like a raised road into traffic. Almost kills him. Again, it's another good episode. It's going to be a B, and I think I'll put it there. Disappearing Ink. This one is incredibly creepy. It's probably my favourite Ink episode of the, I think there's 4 of them, maybe 3. So after Ink was captured in Blackout, she's been held in cryostasis, and like one of the janitors there becomes obsessed with her and breaks her out, and he wants to be turned into something like her so they can have a romantic relationship. And Ink strings him along and turns him into this almost gloopy monster thing. It's horrific. But there's a really wonderful moment where Terry has been caught, and Ink contacts Bruce Wayne, or contacts Batman, the older Batman, through the intercom and says, "You need to come here or I'm going to kill the boy." And he turns up in like a mech suit that puts a load of strain on his heart, but he doesn't care. He's going there to save Terry's life, even if it kills him. And it's this really wonderful rendition of the classic Batman theme tune, the da 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 da. But it's played on like electric guitar and stuff. I think it's wonderful. I'm going to put it at the top of the A tier for now. I think I might move this around later on. Okay, so the next one, A Touch of Curare. So again, it's a new villain introduction episode with Curare, an assassin. I think she's from the League of Assassins, and she's sent after the district attorney who's married to Barbara Gordon. Again, it's another good, solid episode. Doesn't really speak to me though, so I'm going to put it, I'll probably put it, slightly above Golem. Right, Ascension. So this is I think it's the last episode of season 1, where the whole Derek Powers' Blight storyline comes to a head, and he has like a meltdown in public and is recorded, and he's outed as Blight, and he has to try and hide. And he brings in his son Paxton Powers to kind of act as the CEO of Wayne Powers by proxy. But Paxton betrays his dad and basically kills him. It's a really good episode. I'm going to put it on the A tier. Probably about there, I think. Yeah. Okay, so now we are on to season 2. Now, Splicers. So this episode is one of those episodes that I think a lot of people don't realise kind of ties back into DC Animated Universe history, because the Splicers are people that inject themselves with mutagen to bring out animal traits in themselves. So like there's a guy who looks like a bull, and a lady who's got like feline features, and she's got cat eyes and a good sense of smell. But this all ties in with what Kirk Langstrom was doing as the Man-Bat in Batman the Animated Series. So it's kind of like taking the Man-Bat concept but refining it so that you have a bit more control and you're not as feral. I think it's a cool episode, a really good one. There's a cool scene where the doctor, Dr. Abel Cuvier, that was it, injects Terry with a bat formula, and he essentially turns into Man-Bat and goes back to the Batcave. It's like, "Oh, help me." Really cool. I like it. So it's going to be an A for me, and I think I'll put it above Heroes. Earthmover. Now this is another one of my favourite episodes because it is just so horrifically frightening. So one of Terry's school friends is being stalked by these like shadowy figures that seem to come out of the ground. And it transpires that they are extensions of her father, who was trapped underground in an accident and exposed to radioactive waste, and he's just kind of fused into the ground, and he's just this emaciated, glowing skeleton that talks through gritted teeth. It's horrible. But I love it. I think it's amazing. I'm putting this in the S tier. Not better than Meltdown, I don't think. But is it better than Rebirth? For now, I'm going to say yes. Joyride is a fun episode where there's an experimental military vehicle that gets taken by some of the Joker gang, and they just cause mayhem around Gotham. It's a solid episode, perfectly good. I'm going to put it on B. Okay, so Lost Soul. That's the one where a businessman from the earlier BTAS era died and had his mind recorded on a disc so that he could continue running his company as a kind of like an AI. But it got shut down, and decades later he gets switched back on, and he decides he's going to basically take over Gotham City, and he takes control of the bat suit. And there's some really cool, creepy imagery of like this empty suit just kind of walking around and hitting Terry. It's cool. It's a good episode. I'm going to put that as an A, and I'm going to put it just above Heroes, I think. It's a very good episode. Okay, Hidden Agenda. That's the episode where a leader of one of the Joker gangs is like a really high-performing student at Terry's school. And when he comes second place in some exams, he targets the first place student, Maxine Gibson. I think her name is Max Gibson, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. He starts targeting her, and she thinks that it's Terry doing it. I think it's a good episode. Again, it's going to be another B, I think. Oh, but where am I going to put it? I like it more than Curare. So it's going to go there. Okay, next we have Bloodsport, which is the episode that introduces us to the Stalker, who's like a... How can I put it? He's like a cybernetically enhanced big game hunter that seeks the Batman because he thinks he's the greatest sport. It's a good episode. I think it's going to be another B. And I'm going to put it there. I think that will work. So, Once Burned. So this one is the return of the Royal Flush Gang. 10 turns up asking for Batman's help to rescue her family after they've been kidnapped by the Jokers. Although things are not what they seem. Again, it's a good episode. I'm saying this a lot with Batman Beyond. Like, this is a good episode. I don't think there are really any bad Batman Beyond episodes. Sorry, spoilers. But I'm going to put this again in the B, and I'm going to put it here. So, Hooked Up. That's one with Spellbinder, where he's luring high school kids into virtual reality worlds, and in exchange, he asks them to commit crimes for him. There's something really kind of... I don't know, I was going to say sinister, but that's not really the right word. There's something disturbing about the Spellbinder because he was a school guidance counsellor, so he's supposed to be like this trusted figure of authority within a school, and he's just getting these kids to do awful things repeatedly. Again, it's a good episode, and you get some insight into Max's home life in this episode because she ends up getting hooked on the VR world. But where am I going to put it? I'm going to put it above Bloodsport. I'm putting everything in the same spot recently. It's like, okay, just above Bloodsport. Rats. Now, I really like this episode. It's another creepy episode. There's... So Terry misses one too many dates with Dana, and she gets mad with him. And she winds up getting kidnapped by this creepy rat boy who lives in the sewer. Now, this guy is very much... I think he's very much inspired by like the Ratcatcher from the Batman comics, except he is actually a rat boy. I don't know if he's a splicer or if he was just born that way. I suspect he's a splicer of some sort. But he's like really obsessed with her and wants to keep her in the sewers and give her the kind of life he thinks she deserves, which is apparently not so good. I am going to put that at the top end of B, I think. If I can just move these around. Right, so Mind Games. That's the one where a psychic girl continually contacts Batman and asks for help because she's been enrolled in this strange school for gifted children, the Brain Trust, who would go on to appear in the Zeta Project as well, actually. And they've all got like these weird powers. Like there's a guy who just cannot be harmed. There's the overweight bald guy who can like float and has got psychic powers. I think so far this is probably an episode that I don't love. It's not bad by any means, but I'm gonna put it in C. That's my first C. Okay, Revenant. So that is the episode where it looks like the school is haunted, but it's actually Willy Watt from Gollum. Where's Gollum on here? That one. He's now kind of enhanced his powers while he's been locked up in juvenile hall. He's built up his body, he's got buff, and he's got better control of his powers, and he's kind of moving things around in the high school while he's in prison. I think it's a good episode again. I've got to come up with... Someone get me a thesaurus. Better words than good. I need more adjectives in my life. I think it's better than Gollum. I'm going to put it here. Okay, Babel. So this one, Shriek returns with a device that kind of messes up everyone's speech centers so they can no longer understand each other. And the only way he'll stop using that machine is if Batman turns himself in and lets himself get killed. I think it's a really good episode again. Oh, there I am with good. I think it is a strong episode. Demonstrates some of Terry McGinnis's heroism because he throws his hands up and says, yeah, okay, Shriek wants me. I'll turn myself in if it'll help other people. Good episode. Solid B. I'm putting it above Shriek. Terry's friend dates a robot. Now, this is a cool, rare occurrence of a comedic episode in Batman Beyond, where Terry's friend, what is his name? Howard something. Howard. Howie? Howard. Yeah, Howard. Who seems to be based on Paul Dini physically. Pays a load of money to get a robot girlfriend that is obsessed with him, but she becomes properly obsessed with him. So when other women start showing interest in him because he's got this cool girlfriend all of a sudden, the robot Cynthia, the synthoid Cynthia, becomes murderously jealous. And I think this is a really great episode. So I'm putting it up in the S tier. It's not better than Rebirth, so it's going to go there. Eyewitness. Now, this one, I believe, is the episode where Barbara Gordon believes that Terry has murdered Mad Stan, and she's determined to bring him in, but it turns out the Spellbinder had tricked her. But where would this go? I mean, it's a solid episode, but I don't think it's better than... I don't think it's better than the first Spellbinder episode. Is it better than Hooked Up? I'm going to say yes. I think it's better than Once Burned. I think it's better than The Revenant. Let's put it above Hidden Agenda. There we go. Okay, so final cut. So this is the one with Curare when she returns. She's after... What's his name? A guy... one of the members of the League of Assassins. He's voiced by Tim Curry, but I can't remember his name. I mean, it's a solid episode. There's one really good bit where this is the episode where like Max gets really insistent on being involved in the Batman mission, and she winds up almost getting murdered by Curare, and I think it gives her some second thoughts. I think I like it more than a touch of Curare, but not much more, so I'm going to put it back there. Okay, so The Last Resort. Now, this is a really cool episode where troubled children are put into this new program that is supposed to, deal with all of their problems, but really it's like a cruel prison, and the parents don't know how bad it is, and Terry kind of inserts himself in there to try and shut it down. It's a good episode, really good episode. I am going to go with an A for it, I think. I think it's a good one. Do I like it more than Ascension? No. But then again, do I like it more than Rats? I'll leave it there for now. Armory. Again, this is another solid episode where one of Terry's friends' stepfather loses his job at a tech company, and so he has to take on some side work, stealing from other companies in order to maintain the family's luxurious lifestyle. I think it's a solid B. I like it more than Gollum. Do I? Yeah, I like it more than Touch of Curare. Let's go there. Yeah, that'll do. Sneak peek. I love this episode. So there is a like a sleazy journalist that's doing like tell-all documentaries on famous people, and it turns out he gets his information because he's got a belt that allows him to become intangible, so he can kind of walk through walls and spy on people. And he attaches a camera to the Batmobile and learns Batman's real identity, and he's going to spill. It has got such a wonderful ending where Bruce Wayne turns up at the guy's office and asks him not to reveal Terry's identity. He can reveal that Bruce Wayne was Batman, fine, but leave Terry out of it. There's a really great moment where he's like, wow, that was really heartfelt and honest. I was really impressed by what you said, Mr. Wayne. Care to do it again on camera? And at that point, his belt has kind of been eating away at him throughout the whole episode, and he can't control it anymore, and he becomes fully intangible and falls through the floor. And there's a really neat contrast between the way that Terry reacts to this and the way that Bruce reacts to it. So the guy's like falling through the floor slowly, going, help me! And Bruce Wayne just goes, no, and walks away. Whereas Terry is like desperately trying to hold on to him, saying, please pull yourself together, I'll help you. And he just ends up falling. And as he realizes that he's never going to stop falling until he gets to the center of the earth, he just completely breaks down with this frenzied laughing. Oh, I love this episode so much. I'm going to put it, it's an S for me. I'm going to put it slightly above Rebirth. Okay, next. Egg Baby, another rare comedy episode where as part of a high school assignment, Terry McGinnis is given like an egg fake baby that he's got to look after, and if that it kind of tracks the baby's emotional happiness, and if the baby is unhappy by the end of the test period, then he failed that class and will have to do it again. So he has to take the egg baby around with him while he's Batman, and he's preventing some robberies. It's kind of funny, good episode. I think it's probably, I'm going to put it on the low end of A because it is a good episode. I do enjoy it. I know some people don't enjoy it, but, you know, we're all different. Right, speaking of ones I don't really enjoy, the introduction to Zeta from the Zeta Project. It's not a bad episode by any means. It's about like a hunter-killer assassin robot that decides it doesn't want to murder people anymore. And its handlers from the government agency want to destroy it because they think it's gone rogue. But really all it wants to do is just be left alone and live. I'm going to put it in C, and I'm probably going to put it below, above. Yeah, I'll put it just below Mind Games. It's, again, a C is not a bad rating. C is just like good. B is better than good. Plague. Now, I like this one. So this one is like the snake worshipping cult Cobra have smuggled in a deadly plague into Gotham City, and it's being carried by like a hitman called Falseface. Now, Falseface is like a 1950s Batman comics character, and a version of him appeared in the Adam West show. But this version of Falseface is a bit more like Marvel Comics Chameleon. There's a really like grotesque image where Batman like punches him in the face near the end of the episode, and his face just goes and then his face is just messed up for the rest of the episode. Again, I think it's probably another B episode, but I'm going to put it there, where I seem to put everything. April Moon, now that's another strong episode. A scientist, doctor, I suppose, his much younger than him wife is kidnapped by a gang of street punks, and they make him augment their bodies so they can become superpowered criminals. If I hadn't already given it away with the way I phrased that, turns out that they had planted the young woman there, and she had married him to get close to him in order that they would then be able to blackmail him, and she's really a member of that gang. It's got a really It's got a very bleak ending where the Doctor has learned of this deception, and when the gang members come back to him after being beaten up by Batman, they say, you know, you've got to fix us up, you've got to make us better than ever, otherwise who knows what will happen to your wife. Of course he knows that nothing's going to happen to her, so he puts them under, and then we have no idea what he does to them, but I'm fairly certain nothing good will happen there. I am going to put this high up in the B's. I'm going to put that, I think it's better than Spellbound, actually. Yeah, I'm going to put it there. Centuries of the Last Cosmos. This one contains a lot of references to Star Wars. So there's a game, or a series of games in the Batman Beyond universe called Centuries of the Last Cosmos, and it's very much like Star Warsy. And the best players of the game get invited to the creator's house, where he reveals to them that it's not a game, it's all real. Except it's not. He's tricking them to kill off his opponents. I don't really care for this episode because I don't really like Star Wars, but I can see why people that like Star Wars would like it, so I'm going to put it high end of C. I'm sure there's someone screaming at me right now, but I'm sorry, I just don't really care for it. Payback. So that's the one with the vigilante who's got like this laser whip, and he keeps targeting the parents of children that attend a support group for people that have got problems with parents and employers, I suppose. One of them is an employer, isn't he, rather than a parent. And it turns out that it's the son of the doctor that runs the support group, and he's dishing out payback for these patients so that the people in the support group won't need help anymore, and his dad will have more time for him. Very sad, very touching. I am putting that definitely high in the B's. I'm going to put it above Plague, I think. I feel like some of these are a little bit arbitrary, and I could probably change my mind at any minute. Okay, where's Terry? This is another good episode with Shriek. I can't remember what led Terry to going down into the tunnels underground. But he ends up getting trapped underground when Shriek sets off like a sonic shockwave that brings a lot of the tunnels down, and Max and Bruce have to team up to try and retrace his last steps to find him. I think it's a good episode. Probably not the best of the Shriek episodes. Might put it, but then again, it has that really good moment where Bruce and Max have tracked Terry to the train tracks, but there's a lot of security there. And that throughout this whole episode, Bruce has been saying to Max, do not get involved, do not get involved. I don't want you getting hurt. And she proposes that she heads off down a side tunnel while he distracts them. And he's like, oh yeah, okay, that's a great idea. Which should have been your first red flag. But he goes up to the guards and says, excuse me, gentlemen, should that young woman be walking down those tunnels? And then while they go off and chase her, he trots off down the tunnels. I think that pushes it up a bit, actually. Ooh. I'm going to put it there. I don't want to agonise over this too much. Right, now Ace in the Hole is the episode that deals with Ace's backstory and how Ace was trained to be a fight dog and really abused until he was discovered by Bruce Wayne in an alley. In fact, in Crime Alley. And Bruce adopted him. And in the present day, Ace gets taken away and sold off back to that same dogfighting group. Oh, breaks my heart every time this episode. I'm not really a dog person, but let's can we get higher up? I'm gonna put it there for now, but I'm putting this in the S tier. Yeah, I'm comfortable with that there, I think. King's Ransom. So this is the one. Yeah, this one was the first episode of season 3, I think. So it's the Royal Flush Gang, and they work for Paxton Powers to steal some exotic objects that he really wants. And Paxton Powers kind of double crosses them, so they end up taking Paxton Powers hostage. And in the end, Paxton's wrongdoing is uncovered, and he is forced to leave Wayne Enterprises. again, it's a decent episode. Probably not the best Royal Flush Gang episode. So I'm going to put it above Hooked Up, I think. Okay, Untouchable. So this one, again, it's another decent sci-fi episode. There's a villain. I can't remember what he's called off the top of my head. I want to say the Repeller or Repellent, something like that. I'm going to say Repeller. So he's a guy who basically can't be touched because he's got this electric field around him, and if anyone tries to touch it, you can get like this close and that's it. And he breaks into all of these labs and he's stealing stuff, essentially. And they kind of, the Batmen, Bruce and Terry, track down the technology to a lab where children that are like highly allergic to, sunlight, air, pollution, whatever, they have to wear these suits in order to kind of walk around. It's a solid episode. Not one of the best. And I'm gonna go. Probably gonna put it. Yeah, around the level of Armory, I think. Okay, Inkling. So this one deals with Ink and her daughter, who was given up for adoption early on, and she's just like a really awful person. She's got a lot of credit card debt on a lot of credit cards, and she sees Ink's return to her life as a way of making a lot of money, because she needs mutagen in order to maintain her form, but she can't steal it in her weakened state, so she goes to her daughter and kind of brings her into the family business, and she gets betrayed and ends up melting away. And it's got again another really creepy end of episode moment where you have the daughter kind of sunning it up in a mansion on a sun lounger by a pool with a butler, and Batman visits her and she says, there's no evidence to connect me to anything, you've got nothing on me, copper. And he says, yeah, that's true, but Ink has come back from worse in the past, so keep an eye out for her. And then you see in the shade of the bush, the shadow changes the shape into just this massive eye, Ink's eye, looking at her daughter, and she goes at the end. Really good. I'm going to put that on the low end of A, I think. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Big Time. So a friend of Terry McGinnis's who has just got out of prison is looking for a fresh start, and Terry helps him get a job at Wayne Enterprises, but really he's there to steal stuff. And in the process, he gets doused with these like growth chemicals. I think they're for crops. But he gets doused in them and he becomes this massive mutated guy, sort of like the Incredible Hulk in a way, called Big Time. Decent enough episode. Kind of shows how Terry's life could have gone if he hadn't paired up with Bruce Wayne. I think it's a B, and I'm going to put it just below Armory. Right, now Out of the Past is another one of my favourite episodes. So this is the episode in which, on Bruce Wayne's 80-something-th birthday, Talia al Ghul visits him and offers him the opportunity to dip in the Lazarus pits to regain his youth. And he takes her up on it. Of course, it turns out that it's not really Talia. Her father, Ra's al Ghul, has possessed her body, and he wants to take control of Bruce Wayne's younger body. Really creepy, quite upsetting. Still, there's some funny stuff in there as well, like the Batman musical at the beginning. This probably won't surprise you to say this. Let me just go up here. I think this is probably... I'm going to put it there. Okay, Speak No Evil. So a gorilla gets spliced with a human DNA and learns how to talk. And he explains that he was captured by poachers and they took his mother away, and he wants to find his mother. And he implicates a famous animal conservationist, is that even the word? But outs him as a poacher. It's solid. I don't love it. There's some funny stuff in there, like when the gorilla calls a taxi And the guy, the taxi driver, says to him, "Oh, nice costume." He goes, "Yes, very hot," or something like that. Made me laugh. I'm going to put it at the low end of B. The Call. Now, this one is another excellent episode. In fact, it's a two-parter. Superman visits Batman and asks for him to come and join the Justice League because someone is taking out members of the Justice League and he believes there's a traitor in the group. Of course, it would transpire that the traitor is actually Superman and he's been taken over by Starro the Conqueror. I think the second part isn't as good as the first part, but, you know, these two-part stories are just blended together. So I think this one's really good. And I am going to put that in the S tier if it will let me do that. Let me just scroll up. And I'm going to put it there, slap bang in the middle of the S tier. Right, okay, what have we got left? So Betrayal. That's the second big time episode where he's teamed up with the Brains to perform some robberies, but Big Time betrays him, tries to bring in Terry to join his gang, but he's going to betray Terry as well. Solid. I think I like it more than the original Big Time episode, but narrowly, just narrowly. Curse of the Cobra. Now this is actually, it's another two-part story dealing with the cult Cobra. There's some nice stuff in here. We see a character who had previously been seen in Batman the Animated Series when she was a young girl. I want to say her name is Kyrie. I'm probably misremembering that. I apologise if I've got that wrong. But she was in the episode Day of the Samurai. She was the student that was kidnapped by Kyodai Ken that Batman flew to Japan to rescue. Was she the daughter of the sensei? I think she was. Anyway, she's now running the martial arts school, and Bruce sends Terry to this school to kind of spruce up his fighting ability. And one of the other students there is a guy named Xander, who is, it would transpire, the head of the Cobra cult. And they are about to embark on a mission to turn everyone into lizards. I don't really like this episode very much, so I'm putting it... I mean, is it a D? I'm going to put it there for now. It's because it's my least favourite one. I suppose I could have put it at the end of C, but for now it can stay there. Countdown. So Zeta comes back to Gotham with Ro. And along the way he gets knocked unconscious, if androids could even get knocked unconscious, and gets picked up by Mad Stan, who, when he learns that that Zeta is a robot, thinks it's a government spy, and so he fits him with an explosive and then sends him on his way. And then Batman has to track down Zeta to disarm the explosive. It's fine. But I'm going to put it... I don't like it as much as the first Zeta episode. It's getting fairly low. And finally, Unmasked, the last episode of Batman Beyond. So there is a young boy in a dangerous situation and Batman tries to help him, but he's scared of the Batman costume. So in order to save the boy's life, Terry takes his mask off and goes, "See, I'm a real person. I'm just here to help you." When the boy says on the news that he saw Batman without his mask, Cobra kidnap him, and they use some machinery to try and look into his memories to see who Batman really is. It's fine. I'm probably going to put it... See, maybe I'm just being harsh on it because it's like the last episode of the last season and you'd kind of hope they'd go out on a bang. But they didn't know it was going to be the last episode. Perhaps they thought that the season would be renewed. But then they went on to work on Justice League instead. I'm going to put it there, near the bottom of the list. All right, so that's my tier list of Batman Beyond episodes. I'm sure I've made some controversial choices here, but let's see. What's the top 10? I'm going to have to count these. Meltdown, Earth Mover, Out of the Past, The Call, Sneak Peek, Rebirth, Ace in the Hole, Terry's Friend Dates a Robot, Disappearing Ink, and Blackout. That's the top 10 for me. I feel like on a different day I would probably have slightly different answers, but the top 5 would probably be exactly the same. Hope you enjoyed it. Please share your own views. Just don't be mean to me just because I don't like Curse of the Cobra. I really don't like that. I think I'm probably going to get some stick for disliking Centuries of the Last Cosmos. And actually, I should say, I don't dislike it. I just don't think it's as good as the other ones. C is a perfectly respectable grade. It's a pass, right? The only one that I think doesn't pass is Curse of the Cobra. All right, well, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Take care.